Let's have a quick conversation about Esusu Rent Reporting. Is this a service legit? Are they actually doing what they were supposed to do, or are they actually doing what they claim of doing? Though they claim to help you do in terms of boosting your credit score and other things. So here's an overview I really want you to pay attention to. So what is Esusu in the first place? So Esusu is basically a fintech company. So it's a financial technology company founded by Abby Wamimo and Samir Goel in 2018. So the company is kind of young, but in the last few years, they've been kicking ass like crazy. And the company's mission is to really empower individuals, particularly those from low-income and minority backgrounds, to achieve financial stability and build wealth. So what they do is they actually help you, if you are interested in their service, they help you with credit building, rental payment, data, financial wellness, and savings solutions. They provide products such as rent reporting, savings clubs, and financial coaching. So this is kind of cool. I mean, ideally what they're trying to do here is they're trying to really help you buttress your financial situation and your credit worthiness. Okay. And Esusu Rent partners, they actually do a lot of things in terms of partnering with landlords to share their tenants' rental payments with the credit bureaus. It helps landlords attract quality renters and renters build credit. Okay. And what we love here is that Esusu also really is branching out of its core sort of service. What they do right now is they give also 0% interest loans to renters experiencing financial hardship. So if you are, let's say you're a tenant and you are having financial hardship right now and you are part of the Esusu Rent program, they'll help you out. Okay. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here to have a quick convo today about Esusu and Esusu Rent Reporting, because I really want to focus on the specific part of their business, the rent reporting part, because they do a lot of stuff. But in today's conversation, we want to focus specifically on the rent reporting part. So the rent reporting in terms of helping you build business credit. So what are the pros and cons of this service here? Pros: it's potentially free to use, reports to all 3 credit bureaus, reports to up to 24 months of history plus ongoing payments, missed payments will not be reported, proactive customer service, and access to free rent relief loans. What about the cons? Requires landlord purchase to sign up, okay, and significant mobile app glitches. I mean, there's something they have to work on. So Esusu, if you're listening to us right now, you really better fix the mobile aspect of things. Your app is not really working all the time. And this is a new company. As I said, they've been established in 2018. So, they have limited credit, they have limited history. You never know. So the bottom line here is that Esusu Rent does 2 things. They help you with rent reporting and rent relief by giving like interest-free loans. So what is the process we are talking about? So when we talk about Esusu Rent Reporting, what are we talking about? How does Esusu Rent really work? So Esusu is just a rent reporting service that property managers can buy. So if you're a landlord, you have to buy the service from Esusu. It shares your monthly payment activities with Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. You as a tenant, you as a renter. And that gives you an opportunity to improve your credit by paying on time. It also helps your landlord attract credit-conscious tenants. So Esusu works directly with your landlord to access your payment data, so there is nothing you need to do to facilitate the process besides you opting in. And you can do so using the Esusu websites or their mobile app. Either way, you'll be able to monitor your Vantage Score 3.0 with Equifax data from your dashboard. So everything happens on your dashboard and everything is clean. I mean, we love the user interface. The UX here is just fantastic. And Esusu claims you should expect your rental payments to show up on your credit reports between 2 and 8 weeks after the onboarding claims or the onboarding process. And so this is 24 months. So what they do here is that they can report up to 24 months of previous rental payments to the credit bureaus, but only if you have held your current lease for that long. So if you have not been in this apartment for 24 months, you're not going to see that 24 months in your credit report. Okay. And so if you have recently moved to a building using Esusu, they will not be able to access historical data from your previous leases. So traditionally, rent payments have not had any impact on consumer credit, and because landlords don't report them to the credit bureaus by default. So even if they did, previous versions of FICO scores ignore them as a credit scoring factor. So the cool thing is, however, the Vantage score algorithms and most recent FICO scores will consider any rental payments in your credit report. So this is really good. Consequently, rental reporting services are becoming more popular. Okay, so this is kind of cool, and you should be aware that still FICO 8, the score most popular with lenders, will not include rental data, even if it's on your credit, on your credit report. So when rent payments show on your credit reports, you have an additional incentive to make your payments on time. That benefits your property managers because it reduces the need to chase down late paying tenants. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. I'm giving you an in-depth review of Esusu Rent. So the rent reporting service kind of give you like the ins and outs of this service, so you have a clear idea what's really happening there. And so basically, Esusu will not report late payments. No, okay, but you can actually expect like an increase in your credit score by 50 to 75 points within 90 days. So let's really dig a little deeper here in terms of the rent reporting aspect of things. So how does it really work? How does Esusu's rent reporting program work? And so basically you have to, so the program is designed to be simple and accessible for both renters and property managers, property owners. And so here's how things works. So property owners or managers sign up for Esusu's rent reporting service and connect their property management software to the platform. And renters, that is tenants, they opt in to have their rent payments reported to the credit bureaus through Esusu. As renters make their monthly rent payments, Esusu will collect the payment data from the property management software. So everything happens automatically at the software level, and Esusu then reports the rent payment information to the major credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. By the way, what Esusu is doing, they're not the only one doing it though. There are other rent reporting services in the industry. We have actually reviewed a lot of them in the past. So if you're interested in knowing more, just let us know in the comment section, and we'll just send you to those videos that really talk about all the other rent reporting services. And so when you really think about the process is very simple, right? So you have benefits for both renters, for property owners and managers, but you also have benefits for the society overall. So benefits for renters are like there is no extra cost. You have retroactive reporting of your rental payments, and you have financial coaching that also comes from Esusu. So they'll coach you, they'll give you advice, and what have you. They'll really help you. They'll work with you to make sure that you are really you are having the proper foundation going forward. Okay, what are the benefits for property owners and managers? Well, you have increased on-time rent payments, right? So you really are reducing risk, and you can attract and retain responsible tenants, and you are able to actually support financial inclusion. So this is kind of important because by participating in Esusu's rent reporting program, property owners contribute to financial inclusion efforts and help underserved communities access essential financial services. So this is kind of important. And you also have the Esusu rent pricing. Now, the thing is that Esusu does not disclose this information, but you as let's say you as a landlord or property manager, you have to pay Esusu something. So the tenant's not paying anything, but the landlord is paying something. I want to talk about Esusu's relationship with Fannie Mae. This is a quintessential element in, so you cannot review Esusu rent reporting without actually mentioning Fannie Mae. So Fannie Mae and Esusu have built a relationship, an ongoing relationship. So basically it's called the Multifamily Positive Rent Payment Reporting Pilot Program. So that was actually a program they started like a year ago. So in 2022, Esusu announced a partnership with Fannie Mae to launch the Multifamily Positive Rent Payment Program. It's a pilot program, and so this is an initiative that aims to actually evaluate the impact of positive rent payment reporting on credit scores and actually access to affordable housing in the multifamily housing sector. So this is kind of important because you have a lot of people who could be potentially affected. So we're speaking about here 30,000 to 50,000 rental units. Okay, and across the United States. We're not talking about in specific states, no, across the United States, in all 50 states. And so the pilot program includes approximately 30 to 50,000 rental units. And that program will run for 2 years. So what they want to do here is that they want to see if there's a correlation, there's a positive correlation between all elements that are actually taken into account when it comes to multifamily rent payment reporting program. So during that period, Fannie Mae and Esusu will collect data on rental history, rent payment patterns, credit score changes, and other relevant metrics to evaluate the effectiveness of rent reporting in the multifamily housing market. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about Esusu Rent Reporting. I'm actually going granular here. I'm explaining to you in depth what Esusu Rent Reporting is all about. And so how does the pilot program work? So basically, property owners and managers of Fannie Mae financial multifamily properties, they sign up for the pilot program and they connect their property management software to Esusu's platform. And renters living in participating properties opt in to have their rent payments reported to the credit bureaus. And Esusu they will collect rent payments and rent payment data from the property management software and reports the data to the major credit bureaus. Okay, so really, the process is similar. It's just that right now the scope is different. So Esusu is trying to apply its proprietary technology, its proprietary processes to a larger market here, because the good thing is that when we talk about Fannie Mae, we're speaking about an institution that is present nationwide. So by having this partnership, Esusu is essentially increasing its cloud, its operational cloud. So this is really good. We love that a lot, and it's just something we should really encourage in the future. Esusu they are on the right path here. So if you are listening to me right now and you are in a Fannie Mae apartment, multifamily apartment, and you want to actually jump on the program either as a landlord or as a tenant, this is great. As you can do so, go to Esusu's website. I want to quickly talk about rent relief. This is another important element that you have to think about when you are considering Esusu's rent reporting. What is rent relief? So the rent relief program is basically designed to provide financial assistance to renters who are struggling to make their rent payments due to job loss, medical emergencies, or other unexpected events. And the loan program aims to prevent evictions and promote housing stability for vulnerable tenants. So how does it work? So renters facing financial hardship, you can apply for, if you are one of those, you can apply for the Esusu Rent Relief Program through the company's website or mobile app. And you are required to provide documentation of your financial need, such as proof of job loss, medical bills, or other relevant information. So what will happen here is that Esusu will review the application, and if approved, they will actually provide a one-time grant to cover a portion of your rent payment. And the grant is paid directly to the property owner or manager on your behalf. So if you are in that situation, this is how it works. So there are a lot of benefits of the rent relief program because the program prevents evictions, promotes financial recovery, and strengthens communities. I mean, we all know that, evictions play like a detrimental role, a destroying role when it comes to the stability of communities. So Esusu is doing something really wonderful here. And one thing I also want to say here is that Esusu is not the only player. Like when we talk about Esusu, they do have some very important and notable investors. Okay, from SoftBank to the Charles and Lynn Schusterman family philanthropies. You have a Financial Solutions Lab. You have Top One Ventures. You have Serena Ventures. So what I'm trying to say here is that you have a lot of big players, a lot of well-moneyed players who are backing up Esusu, who are helping them do what they are doing. And this is kind of cool because it's really great to see that Esusu is not the only one thinking like that. That Esusu has received approval or has received approval from very well-known individuals and organizations who are willing to put their money where literally their mouth is. So this is kind of cool. Let me talk to you about the reviews. So, but the thing is, if you're listening to me right now, you're thinking, should I sign up for Esusu or not? And the thing is that because Esusu Rent is a relatively new company, founded in 2018, I just said that the customers' reviews online are limited, and however, they are still valuable points of references, right? So the thing here is that when we talk about the Esusu Rent, their current customer reviews, those reviews are mixed. Some people actually love the company for what it is doing. Some people really are complaining about glitches in the process. Sometimes people talk about rent payments not being reported on time, and or some people complain about the fact that what Isuzu promises, like a bump in your credit score, like 50 points, 75 points. People are not seeing that. Like there are some people who said, well, they've been with the service, with Isuzu Rent Reporting service for like 180 days, like that's about 6 months, but they haven't seen the bump that Isuzu is claiming to actually give you. So it's one of those things where you have to think of this on a case by case basis, because it's not really easy to go on Trustpilot or go on Triple B and start reading comments and say this is how the company works, because this can give you a limited sort of window into how the company operates. So overall, what I want to say here is that there are reviews that are mixed. It's one of those things, before you sign up for yourself, you got to really ask yourself whether or not this is really what you want to do. As I said, there are other rent reporting services. Isuzu is not the only one. So maybe you might want to go with other rent reporting services, or have 2 or 3. I mean, some rent reporting services, they love exclusivity. They want you to be the only, like they want you to be with only them. But if you are with one, let's say a rent reporting service that is okay with you being listed multiple times, you can really try other services too, to make sure that it's really working for you, right? Because the bottom line here is you want to make sure that you are getting the service that you are really you should be expecting. So again, here when it comes to reviews, you have mixed reviews. Some people say that Isuzu Rent Reporting service is fantastic, and other people are saying, hey, listen, this is crappy. So it's like it's right in the middle there. Now, one thing you have to see, we have to think here is that our own opinion, we think that Esusu Rent Reporting is a great service. We have experience with the service ourselves through our clients, and we love the fact that they are they have great customer service. They help you do a lot of stuff. So Esusu Rent Reporting is really great. We will recommend that. Let me give you a few pro tips. As I've said before, there are some Isuzu rent alternatives, okay? And so they're not the only, their only service here. If your property manager is not interested in the software, you have plenty of other great options. Many are better established than Isuzu and have greater flexibility for independent renters. For example, you have Rent Reporters. So Rent Reporters was actually founded in 2012, okay? Think about it, 2012. Making it one of the oldest rent reporting services, and they're only average in their prices and the flexibility of reporting options, but they have maintained a reputation for excellent customer service all those years. Because sometimes when you think about rent reporting, you also want to pay attention to operational longevity, like how long they've been around, because you can't just say, well, they have, the service can be improved, but how long have they been around? Because if they were not doing something good, I mean, they would have closed shop a long time ago. So they must be doing something good. That's how we analyze a market or a company. If people are saying company is crappy, whatever, but the company has been in business for many, many years, they must be doing something right. And you have Rent Reporters, you have a Credit Rent Boost. This is another sensible option, receiving glowing customer reviews and an A- rating from the Better Business Bureau. Okay. You also have Boom. So Boom is a relatively new app-based option that reports to all 3 credit bureaus and also shows that it really reflects your credit score improvements over time. It allows also split rent payments. So if you are considering a rent reporting service, you should understand that there are 2 types of rent reporting. So you have landlord enrolled services and you have now non-landlord enrolled services. So landlord enroll services get their payments information from your landlord. They require your landlord's cooperation, but they can actually, report cash payments. And then you have the non-landlord enroll services that get their payment information from your bank. So they don't involve your landlord, but they will only work if you pay by check or automatic withdrawal. Okay. Now there are other ways to build credit though. You have, get a secure credit card, use a credit builder loan, or become an authorized user. Okay. So there are a lot of things you can do. So before I close to this conversation, is Esusu Rent worth it? Yes. In our view, yes. But one thing I want to say here, I want to qualify this yes. Your decision to sign up for Esusu Rent is probably more in your property manager's hands than your own. If they have purchased the software for your building, Esusu Rent is probably worth using, assuming you are confident in your ability to pay on time. However, if your landlord hasn't purchased the software, it'll probably be more work than it's worth to pitch it to them. You'll likely be better off choosing a different rent reporting service or focusing on other ways to build credit. Okay, so this is what it is. And overall, in our view, based on our analysis, you have to really pay attention to a couple of things if you're thinking about a rent reporting service. Like, how do you actually rate a rent reporting service? So you got to think about the cost. You have to think about the effectiveness. You got to think about customer support. You got to think about ease of use. So ease of use is important. And the last part, you have to think about the reporting capabilities. Like how many credit bureaus does the rent reporting service talk to? Because sometimes you have rent reporting services that really claim to report your data to all three bureaus, but they only report your data to one or to two credit bureaus. So there you don't have full benefits, right? So you need to have a rent reporting service. Let's say you need to have a service that actually provide this data to all three bureaus. And if they do not, then you're comfortable with that. Like, you really need to know, okay, this rent reporting service does not report to, let's say, TransUnion or Equifax or Experian, and you're okay with that. At least you get a chance to know, right, what they're offering. So this is really important. And one thing I also want to say here is that before I close to this conversation, make sure that you are in a situation where you can maintain a positive payment history, because it's not really worth it to sign up for a rent reporting service if you are having financial difficulties yourself and you know that you might be missing rent payments, and so you do not want to let's say jeopardize your situation or even worsen your FICO score, your existing FICO score. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about Esusu Rent Reporting. Give you the overview, the process, the rent reporting process itself, how the whole thing works. I spoke to you about Fannie Mae, the relationship they have with Fannie Mae, rent relief, reviews, pro tips, and whether the whole thing is worth it or not. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.